I've been with my fiance for 4 years, one of which was long distance, him in Denver and me in Salt Lake, and spent the entire quarantine with him. Because we have lived together for a couple of years, we have brought up the marriage conversation. Well, if they're already fiance, we have brought the marriage conversation up with my nudging, LOL. He proposed 2 months ago. We got into a huge fight when I told him that I want to keep my maiden name. I am in my early 30s, have established career, and think it's archaic. He, being the breadwinner, was brought up to that he pays most of the bills and expenses, which we agreed on, and has brought up that men and women sacrifice different things for relationships, and this is one of them. Jared, is this an excuse for cold feet, or do men get offended if women don't want to take their name? Ida, what do you think of this situation?
Wow, you guys should have had this conversation before you got engaged.
Right? It is a weird thing to be like, hey, I want to get engaged, nudge, nudge. And then he's like, will you marry me? And here's your new name. What?
Because the thing is this is not about name. This is about philosophy, right? This is about them having different perspectives on what marriage means to them. So
sure.
A lot of people want to get to the marriage, and when you're nudging and you want to get married for whatever reason, you think you should be married because you're this age or whatever, then you have a certain, like if you are already having a fight about that, that means you guys have different attitudes about what marriage is, and you should have a conversation about that.
I agree. It's usually the fight isn't about the thing. It's about like the 10 layers beneath the thing. Like
yes.
the idea, like I don't mind if she's like, this name thing's archaic. Like that doesn't, I'd be like, okay, I get where that comes from. It's kind of weird that he's like, I'm the breadwinner and I shall have, my name shall be on everything I pay for it. Like that is like kind of a line in the sand that is like him avoiding the actual conversation. Like when you put it,
her saying that he's the breadwinner is aligned with the thinking of a woman who would give up her last name. So
that's fair. Yeah. Right? Even describing him that way, you're like,
instead
well,
of saying he covers the split is that because he makes more money, then he covers most of the expenses. But when you call somebody the breadwinner, that's archaic as well.
Absolutely. Well, that's true. It's like, when you say, that's really interesting. When you say the breadwinner, like, have you signed up for everything that would make this guy believe that you would take his last name? Yeah. You signed up for the ring. You signed up for the wedding party, the date, all these things that, and then I would understand from his perspective, you'd be like, wait, what?
What if it would be funny? Like I grew up Seventh-day Adventist, and they don't wear rings because a ring is a sign of vanity. So what if he gave her a watch and it was like, we're going to exchange watches because a watch is the utility and a ring is vanity. Like imagine.
And a ring is archaic. Like he could say the same about the ring. He could go, you could go watch on YouTube about how like rings were invented, like the diamond ring was invented by like De Beers or something. Like you could go watch that you can go get the history on that and go. But again, when you're having that conversation with your significant other, then like, do you even know each other at that point?
That's the bigger. Yeah. You just said it all right there. Yeah. It's like you don't want to use. You don't want my name. Word. You got a problem with. What have y'all been talking about? You live together, you got engaged, you nudge for marriage. Do you even know what marriage means? Because marriage is not about rings, it's not about names, it's not about that. It's a whole big deal where you have to live your life with somebody and share everything, with that person. You guys are not ready for marriage.
And it's also about compromise. So like the idea that like a compromise conversation doesn't involve someone going, well, I pay the bills. And it's like, what? Like
he sounds like Fred Flintstone.
A little bit.